Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Wayne County. We are a diverse congregation that welcomes you as you are, regardless of your age, ethnicity, race, sexual orientation, gender identity, economic status, or physical ability. We come together to seek deeper meaning and understanding from each other and the world around us. Your presence here today is a gift that brings us closer to that understanding. We are an active community that lives its values beyond the hours of Sunday service, and I would like to call your attention to the following. A lot of the volunteer work that takes place in our congregation happens through committees. If you'd like to learn more, please come to our committee fair on September 7th after the water communion service. Each committee will have a representative telling the basics of how they help us meet our fellowship's mission. Those who visit at least 5 committee tables will receive a treat. After today's service, Reverend Walter and Karen, our membership coordinator, plan to meet with those who are still new to our congregation and run a few rounds of connection questions, which will help us learn a little more about ourselves and each other. Karen will also be available to take a photo of anyone in the group who would like to be in our directory. So grab a cup of coffee, smooth or fluff your hair, and join us at the wooden table in the back of the sanctuary. We have received $151,510 in pledges toward the solar panel campaign. Very close to our goal of $160,000. If you have not submitted your pledge, please do so as soon as possible. If you have pledged, thank you so much for your generosity. For those that have or will pledge, we ask that you send the funds by August 31st, if possible, due to our first payment towards the solar panels being due soon thereafter. If you would like to find out more about our activities, feel free to ask Karen Skubik, our membership coordinator.
Good morning, everyone. So good to see all of you. We have some new faces, some faces that have been around for decades, and some that are visitors just for today. So it's nice to have all of you here, and welcome to all of you. Some of you might have seen me passing around these little slips to some of the folks that are a little newer here, and it has to do with what Rachel mentioned in the announcements. For those that are a little newer, we're going to do these connection questions back in the corner. So if you see that going on and wondering what's happening and why I'm handing these out to some people and not others, that's what that's about. But we hope that you all find connection here, whether it's in our little corner over there or out in the lobby during coffee time. We're glad you're all here.
Yeah, I'm going to hope that my mic is on. Am I on? I'm on, thank you. Karen and I were talking a little bit beforehand because there are some congregations, I kind of want to gauge your interest, that after the service they'll have a little table that has questions that are related to the theme of the service for people to go in deeper. Would people be interested in that? Maybe? Okay. I think a lot of people just want to get their coffee. Totally into that. Totally into that. How many of you feel like you're running around and getting nowhere? How many of you are just wondering, because this is the time of year of vacations. This is the time of year where we're supposed to have leisure, and yet we think, or maybe we feel that there is so much going on that we cannot catch our breath. Today's about catching our breath. Today is about what it means to catch your breath, what that might look like, and how that's a radical form of resistance, how that is counter-cultural, and how important it is, in my opinion, not just for survival, but to thrive as well. I hope that when you walk through these doors, that you are able for just a moment to put down all that is weighing on you, to put down all of the obligations and know for just this moment, you are allowed to be enough without doing. You are enough. I love seeing your faces every morning. I love being in worship with you. I love it when you bring your whole selves. Thank you for taking time. Thank you for joining us in worship. If you have a cell phone on you, I encourage you to put it into worship mode. Calm your minds, open your hearts, and join us now for this hour of worship.
Our chalice lighting this morning is In Stillness by Nancy Schaefer. I have been looking for the words that come before words, the ones older than silence, the ones not mine that can't be found by thought, the ones that hold the beginning of the world and are never used up, which arrive loned and make me weep. Let us now rise in body or spirit as we sing our opening hymn, Morning Has Broken. The music can be found in the gray hymnal, number 38.
can if you want. I would like to share with you this morning from Tricia Hersey's book, Rest is Resistance. And what she has in here is a rest meditation practice. Sit in a chair with your back upright and your feet firmly planted on the floor. If you are able, recline on a bed, a couch, a hammock, floor. Scan your body. Recognize any tension. Breathe deep. Imagine a world without limits. Inhale deeply from your belly and hold for 4 seconds. Exhale slowly. Repeat. Scan your body for any tension. Breathe deep. Imagine a world without limits. Inhale deeply from your belly. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale slowly. It's important to take time to breathe. It's important to take time to imagine that world without limits. It's important to recognize the points of tension and to say to yourself, it's okay to take care of it. It is okay to take care of yourself. I want to share with you, for those who may not have heard, this Friday we lost Margaret Boyer. She was 94. Friend of the congregation, a deep well of love and joy for so many. Some of us knew that this would be coming one day. I would definitely encourage reaching out to Lloyd, her husband, sending your condolences, your love, and remembering the joy of the person she was. Each of us come into this community each week with things that weigh on us from the world, whether it's issues in our own personal lives, the fact that we turned on the news this morning, weariness from a job, from relations, from just being sometimes. This is your time to let it go. If there is a sorrow that is weighing on your heart, that makes it harder for you to move through this world, as we sing Spirit of Life, I encourage you to come up to our altar, to place that worry upon the stone and let the waters wash it away, just for this hour, if not more. And if there is a joy that lifts your heart, if you have witnessed the monarch butterflies and just want to celebrate their existence, you are welcome, as we sing Spirit of Life, to put that joy on this stone and let the waters ripple that joy out so that we may feel it. Please, join us now in our Joys and Sorrows ritual as we sing Spirit of Life.
Our faith is centered on the belief that we can make this world a better place for all who dwell in it. In order to realize that vision, we need both the motivation and the means. Your donation helps the community put its faith into action by supporting our programming and facilities. This morning and throughout the month of August, donations that are not designated for another purpose will be split with CAMO, Central American Medical Outreach, a non-denominational humanitarian organization that brings life-saving medical services, education, and community development to Central America. CAMO provides more than 140,000 life-saving services each year to impoverished people who otherwise would not have access to aid. Thanks to CAMO's efforts, an average of 150 infants per year go home alive in their parents' arms instead of dying. For those who are watching online or who do not carry cash, you can donate on our website by scanning the QR code in the order of service and on the screen. The offering will now be collected and gratefully received. Please join me in the unison reading. The words are on the screen. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts with us, for we are enriched by their giving. Let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we may learn from the generosity of others. Today's reading is Litanies of Worthiness by Atena O'Danner. For affirmation, I am worthy. I can be still. I will believe. I do belong. I am enough. I can receive. I will claim what I need. I deserve wholeness. I am important. I can take up space. I will not move. I matter. I am aware. I can listen. I will learn. I trust my wisdom. For humility, I am open. I can discover. I will invite experience. I take risks. I am afraid. I can admit it. I will do what is right. I show up. I am tired. I can rest. I will slow down. I renew myself. I am full. I can share. I will offer what I have. I keep growing. Blessed be the vigilant. May they know rest. Blessed be the vulnerable. May we learn from their courage.
How many of you know the phrase rope-a-dope? Right? It's a boxing term, right? Who started rope-a-dope? Muhammad Ali, right? Boxing match against George Foreman. Rumble in the jungle, right? Do you know Ali was an underdog in that match? Big underdog. Why? Because George Foreman was powerful. Big, strong. People were saying there is no way Muhammad Ali can withstand the punishment that George Foreman is going to dish out to him. But Ali had a plan. He would allow Foreman to push him up against the ropes. And Foreman would try to hit him. Now we all know Muhammad Ali float like a butterfly, right? He's up against the ropes, and he's dodging as much as he can. Is he dodging every punch? No. He's good. He's not that good. But if you're standing and you're boxing, and you take a hit, where does it go? Boom. But if you're against the ropes, where does it go? Where are my physicists at? Pushing some of that energy into the ropes. His body's not taking the full blow of it, as if he was standing on his own. So he can withstand the punishment when he does get hit. And was Ali a nice guy to George Foreman? No. Ali was egging him on before the match, during the match, getting Foreman angry. So he kept swinging, kept swinging, kept swinging, expending all of his energy, while Ali was only receiving a fraction of it. What happened to Foreman? Got exhausted, tired out. And what did Ali do? He went on the offensive. He attacked because Foreman was tired. Ali needed to keep Foreman distracted, angry, and swinging, making him use all of his energy and exhausting him before he could accomplish anything. And once he was exhausted, he was beaten. How many of you feel exhausted? Yeah. Maybe you're exhausted from one of the myriad in things in life. Maybe you're exhausted from work. It's a pretty common occurrence, especially nowadays. You have a job that demands 40 hours a week on paper, but you get home off the clock and maybe there's a couple of work emails or a couple of dozen work emails. Maybe you've got to monitor that Slack channel till no end. Maybe you're expected to stay late off the clock because you need to get that project done subtly taking up more and more of your time. Or maybe you're expected to do something off the clock like grade papers, make lesson plans. I've lived with a teacher. I know y'all don't work 40 hours a week. Maybe you're exhausted from family obligations. You love your family to a point, and you want to be with your family. But sometimes the obligations can be a little bit much. I imagine that one time you made that one dish to bring to the family function that was a little challenging for you, took a little extra energy, and now every time you're expected to bring it. Every time. Or maybe you have that one person in your family who you love, but just takes up all your energy being with them. I'm looking at family members over here looking at each other. You're not supposed to do that. Be better poker face, people. Maybe you've got those kids that insist on banging on the bathroom door when you were just trying to get 2 minutes. You love them. Come on, guys. Maybe you're exhausted with the world. Maybe you wake up, get your cup of coffee, and you put on the Associated Press, NPR, TikTok, Reddit, whatever news source or rumor source you get, and are hit with one moral catastrophe after the other. Before you can grieve for one horror in the world, another one appears. You have no time to process. Sometimes life feels like a constant stream of things that always need to be crossed off the list, things that need to be taken care of, things that need to be knocked out. And so we keep swinging and swinging and swinging and not realizing just how exhausted we are until Ali gets off the ropes and hits us one last time. In order to survive in this world, we cannot be constantly swinging. In order to survive, you must rest. As our meditation insinuated, I have this book here by author Tricia Hersey. Wrote this book in 2022, and it's called Rest is Resistance, a Manifesto. Every UU loves a good manifesto. This book is a black feminist perspective about the dangers of what she refers to as grind culture. How many of you know the term grind culture? All right. You could do a generational divide by the hands that went up with that. You really could. I spent some time with my in-laws yesterday, and they asked me, "What are you preaching about?" And I said, "Grind culture," and all of them went, "What?" For those unfamiliar, grind culture is the idea that we must always be productive in order to have worth, and nothing else matters. She writes in her book, quote, "Grind culture has made us all human machines, willing and ready to donate our lives to a capitalist system that thrives by placing profits over people," end quote. What does a grind culture look like? How many of you have gone into work sick because you have to, or you're expected to, right? I never understood why the worst culprits to me always seem to be restaurants insist that wait staff do this. Are you nuts? grind culture is where, I was about to say, I just lost my place. Grind culture insists you stay in the office, even though the work, you're not supposed to be working at that time, but the project needs to be done more than anything else. So you have to go above and beyond what your contract says in order to succeed. That's just the standard now. The only time grind culture allows you to rest is when you collapse. When you burn out so hard you can't do anything else. And as soon as you're able to get back on your feet, as unsteady as it is, you get right back into the ring. There is still work to do. And the thing is, grind culture, in the terms that Hersey is talking about, is almost always applied to work. But this is an ethos that has permeated so many aspects of our society. In order to have value as a person, we have to produce in all aspects of our lives. How many of you ever used the term wasting time? I'm wasting time. I have to do something with my time. If not, I'm wasting it. To not produce is to be considered lazy. At its best, when we talk about not producing, when we talk about resting, we consider it a luxury to be able to sit and not do. And at the worst, we consider it a deadly sin. What a sloth. As a culture, we do not respect the idea of rest. Again, in her book, Hersey writes, quote, "It's counterintuitive to believe rest to be not a place to waste time, but instead a generative place of freedom and resistance. We have never learned this in our culture. The thought of not doing, even for a short time, is seen as lazy and unproductive. So an explanation for rest as a form of justice is layered, nuanced. I've learned that one of the most concise and true ways to share the message of rest is to say, quote, rest makes us more human. It brings us back to humanness. End quote. To be more human, to be connected with who and what we truly are, is at the heart of our rest movement," she concludes. Rest reminds us of who we are beyond what we do. There's an example of this that comes from one of my favorite books by one of my favorite authors who you may have heard me refer to before, Becky Chambers. Where am I, Becky Chambers? Oh, all right, I saw that. I got one recognition. Oh, yeah, okay, good. Becky Chambers. This is from a book called A Psalm for the Wild-Built. Ben knows this. Isn't that book delicious? It is the coziest post-apocalyptic book you will ever read. It sounds counterintuitive, but it really is. The central character in this book is Sibling Dex. Sibling Dex is a tea monk. Ah, that's why he poured the water. Sibling Dex is a tea monk, and tea monks travel from town to town with their great big clanky tea carts. And when they come to town, it is announced. They set up camp just outside of town. They set up a tent with seat for two, one table for two, one across from the other. The tea monk sets up all of their tea paraphernalia on one side, and then they set up a second tent. And people come in to visit the tea monk, and they tell them about their problems. Oh my gosh, I have got 5 kids that are just taking every single ounce of my energy. Get close to the microphones. I love them dearly, but I can't take this anymore. Sibling Dex makes them tea bags to take home so they can have some tea at home that is, I'm assuming, caffeinated, but has herbs in it to help them have energy and to help clear their mind. And then this person gets to sit in the other tent. Someone else comes in, city council member. Oh my gosh, you would not believe the rumors that are going around about so-and-so and how bad they're behaving and all of these horrible things that they're doing. And while Dex is listening, she gets some calming herbs, some focus herbs, pours them a cup, listens, and then they go under the other tent. The miracle's in this other tent. This tent is stuffed with pillows and mats and soft chairs. When you are under the tea monk's tent, it is considered sacrilegious to disturb this person. In the tent, they are no longer a parent. In the tent, they are no longer a council member. In the tent, they are allowed to put everything down and be themselves. And they sit. They may chat. They may be quiet. They often just cry and offer each other a shoulder. It is a sacred time, and once they leave that space, they are ready to get back. They are ready to be back into the world. They get to be more than their jobs. They get to be more than their roles. They get to be more than what they produce. They are allowed to be their beautiful, sacred selves without having to earn it. Under the tent, you are enough. In order for us to thrive, not survive, in order for us to thrive in a world that prioritizes doing over being, we need to be intentional when it comes to rest, which is really, really hard. Really hard, because I have trouble doing this. Maybe some of you do. I can't always distinguish rest from distraction. Right? Hersey writes, quote, "It is easy for us as a culture to attempt to engage with this work from a quick surface level. Social media makes it so seductive to quickly scroll and feel a high from the media presented. It allows for an engagement that lacks depth. Slow. It lacks embodiment. This work of rest as resistance," she continues, "is more than simply naps and sleep. It is a full unraveling from the grips of our toxic understanding of our own self-worth as divine human beings." End quote. When we take a break and scroll on our phones, browse the internet, watch TV, that can feel restful. Because after all, we're wasting time. We're not doing anything. We're not working. We're not producing. I don't mean to dismiss that. There is value in that. There is need in that. Sometimes you need to turn the brain off. Sometimes you need to rewatch Grey's Anatomy for the 5th time. Sometimes you need to play Candy Crush or whatever, solitaire. And true regenerative rest does require more. The kind of rest that Hersey talks about in her book, the kind of rest that is resistance, is the kind that reminds you what is really important in this world, what is important to you. It's the kind of rest that allows you to reflect on what you hold dear. It's the kind of rest that allows you to appreciate the beauty in the world, however you may see it. Regenerative rest reminds you, at its core, you are enough. You are worth taking care of. You are divine. To quote Hersey again, once we know and remember we are divine, we will not participate and allow anything into our hearts and minds that is not loving and caring. We would treat ourselves and each other like the tender and powerful beings we are. End quote. By being able to care for ourselves, we learn to care for others. By healing ourselves, we begin to heal the world. So what's with the tea, Walter? Does anybody have a guess? I'm going to admit I'm not a tea drinker. I do not know if it's steeped enough. I did a little pre-steeping ahead of time, hoping to warm up by this point in time. And I hope the water is warm enough to drink, but not tepid. And I have a few cups up here. And at any point in time from this point forward, you are welcome to have a cup of tea. But here's the catch. You have to rest while you drink it. True rest. Find a quiet place in the corner of the sanctuary. It's a beautiful day outside. Find a spot in our gardens. Go up by the labyrinth. Sit on the bench. There are places. Go wherever you need. Take that time to tell yourself you are enough as you are. Take that time to be regenerative. Think about the beautiful things that bring you joy. Think about where your healing may need to begin. And what does it look like to start that journey? If you don't take a cup, totally get it. And if you see someone with that cup, don't disturb them initially. Here's the thing. If you see someone with that cup and you want to help them with their rest, you can look at them, maybe make eye contact, maybe they'll be really subtle about it and just go, leave them alone. Maybe they'll invite you in. Maybe you can ask, do you want company? That's an awful lot to ask as someone who's got one of that cups, because there are a lot of people who will say yes even though they mean no. So I'm going to ask you people who with the cups to have some agency over yourself. But if they do want you there, if they do want your company, you have a responsibility. You have to listen. Do not start talking to them about, so what'd you do this weekend? You know, what are your plans? Don't you love the weather today? Oh my God, did you read the latest thing about Trump? Please do not do that. But if you're going to do that, if you're going to talk to someone with one of these cups, just ask, how are you doing? What's on your heart? What's weighing you down? What are you thinking? And then listen. Sacred listening. Don't tell them how, oh my gosh, that's just like something I dealt with last week. Let me tell you about what I'm dealing with. Not about you today. About the guy with the cup, or the girl with the cup, or the person with the cup. Your role is to witness them, to listen to them for who they are, to say, I see you on this journey. I see you on this path. And I love you and respect you for who you are. If that doesn't scare any of you away from someone with a cup, you're probably the right person to approach them. And again, make sure they want to be approached. Because for some, this process is very tender, very dear, and very daunting. This world, this path that we are on, it is a whirlwind so very often. There are so many things that come up. There is always something we have to pay attention to. Never forget that you are one of those things. You do not need to be doing all the time. Sometimes all you need to do is to be. May it be so. Let us sing. Please rise in body or in spirit as we sing our closing hymn, number 331 in the gray hymnal, Life is the Greatest Gift of All. Before our benediction, can we please give a hand to Ann Gehrig and Jay Clemmy for the fantastic music. You have made such a worshipful performance element for us today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And let's also thank Barb Wilson for playing piano for us today while Sharon is off. For those of you who may not know, our other accompanist, Sue Kendall, is moved on. She has left. She did so on very good terms. She's got other things she wants to focus on. We are going to miss her greatly. We are going to be looking to try and attempt to replace her, which I don't think is possible. But hopefully we will find someone who brings their own spirit and energy just like Sue did. I also feel like I have to tell you, as someone who doesn't know this is called Embrace Herbal Tea Blend. For those of you who are going to try and drink some of this, I did make sure it's caffeine-free. If you want to check out what's in here, please do so. Oh, and because you can't mention a book in UU context without people coming up to you afterwards and saying, what is this? This is the book. I did not bring the Becky Chambers book, Psalm for the Wild Built, but all you have to do is ask me about it, and I will spend the next 20 minutes telling you about how delightful this book is and all of the theological implications behind it. And I would like to leave our benediction, again, with Tricia Hearsey. Imagine a world without oppression. Take more time. Visualize softness. Breathe deep. Envision a world centered in justice. Stay here. May it be so.
These are